poet, he's a philosopher, he's a radio talk show host, and he's a football coach. So what you'll find across the panel here is that they're all very much accomplished, all right? Then after Dr. Black, we're going to have Mr. Henrique Lawson. Oh, sorry, Mr. Paul Wilson. And he's the coordinator of Creative Craft Plus. Mr. Lawson is yes, sorry, he's the coordinator of the National Culture Group for the Blind. And he has over 30 years experience as a librarian at the Jamaica Society for the Blind. He's a member of his church choir. He's fluent in Spanish and English and French. And in case you're interested, he's single.
And retired.
And retired. And of course, Mr. Wilson is a trained telephone operator. He's worked with the Office of the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Labor, and JDF. So we have a very interesting and dynamic panel for this afternoon session. And without further ado, oh sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I am in... My apologies. I'm Dr. Indiana Minto Coy, and I'm Senior Research Fellow at the Mona School of Business and Management. I'm trying to make it as little about me as possible because we don't have the time. So, without further ado, Mr. Black, come forward please. And I've asked the presenters to cut from the 15 minutes to 10 minutes or 8 if possible. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I give thanks for being here, and I welcome the invitation with a certain amount of strangeness. 8 minutes. Yeah. 30 seconds gone. All work and no play. It doesn't say what happened to Jill, right? Okay. I want to begin with the fact that the 2018 Winter Olympic Games just concluded, and presently the Paralympic Games is now taking place in South Korea. The Olympic Games is a high point in athletics and sports in general, and the tradition was always having a summer games. It moved from summer to winter, and it has now included the people with disabilities, which suggests that we have to interrogate not just the economic aspects. From my perspective, we'll deal with that with philosophy and the psychology. That is the underpinning of what we're going to call a sporting industry. I think we have to examine the nature of games, and we have to have a proper understanding of the psychology of play to get a better grip as to what is a sport and ultimately what is sport as an industry. Now, games are cultural formations, and they emerge out of the culture of the people. There is about 3 or 4 things I really want to speak about. I want to talk about play, theories, games, sports, industry, and how do all these things combine to create a sustainable opportunity for economic and social development. So I'm going to move between play and games and just deal with the psychology. Now, if I ask you, the common sense approach to play is that play is the opposite of work. It's a kind of common sense approach. And work is looked upon with great respect and great dignity, and play is not. Now, if we explore the nature of what is not being respected you're going to realize why we're having issues developing ultimately what is our sports. There's an idea that there have been several theories about play, from the evolutionists, from the recreational theorists, from the all kind of issues about play. But certain things are obvious. It's an activity that is prevalent amongst humankind. It also exists in the animal kingdom. So when we delve into the nature of play, we realize that animals play, humans play. What then is the value of play? And further exploration will show you that it's a biological drive. It is a way to release energy. It's a way to recreate your essence, which is yourself. There is free play, undirected, which is recommended for children. But then there's also structured play. And structured play is defined by the addition of rules. When we begin to introduce rules into play, we make that transition from play to games. And in the games, we have an authority figure because there are laws, and the game becomes a social construct in which learning takes place. So a game really could be construed as a learning device, where you learn to respect authority as a player, you learn that there are consequences if things are violated, and you learn how people who fall out of line are brought back into line. So if we begin to recognize the value of play and games, we begin to explore the type of games now. And there's basically two types. We're going to say recreational games and serious games. Recreational games, you play for fun. You play for the release of your energies and you play to satisfy yourself. With that recreational game comes a philosophy about winning and losing. The recreational player doesn't matter whether the player wins or loses. The philosophy is it's how you play the game. The serious player focuses on winning. And it's not a matter of how you win. Winning is not everything. Winning becomes the only thing. So we have two different mindsets within the realm of play. Serious player and the recreational player. There are outlets where individuals can express themselves through play and games. Now, within the context of society, because of the cultural nature of games, these games carry messages, they carry cultural information. For example, cricket, as a game coming out of the British system, would carry things like being honest, walking, if you don't question the authority, it carries a certain amount of encoded behavior. But the topic, the title, which says sport as an industry in the 21st century, it has to be recognized though that sport has been an industry from the 12th century. Because this concept of professional sport really developed in Britain. So the British have been developing the nature of pumping in what we call now money into sport. And so men who were conscious of the combination of finance and popular games transformed sport into a business. Now, if you check the history, horse racing is one of the most oldest forms of professional sport. Horse racing as an industry has certain industries that are attendant to horse racing itself. For example, gambling. For example, food and beverages. So you realize that around these sports, industries begin to be created. The media, manufacturers. So the business aspects of sports has been developing in the European situation for quite a while. In the 18th and 19th century, the Industrial Revolution brought a transformation again in sport. Electricity allowed games to be played at night, and transportation allowed teams to travel in various spaces. So the business of sport has been developing in Europe for the longest time. So I don't really want to use the time talking about the business of sport. I want to speak about the Caribbean region. And why is it we're struggling to make that transition from amateur play to professional play? We have to bear in mind that our games came through the British, and the British brought to us amateur play. Everything came along with the games except the industry. So our games in the Caribbean are primarily recreational. Recreational play doesn't emphasize winning. Recreational play doesn't attract sponsors, management, and the marketing forces. So the point I really want to make is that if we want to make that leap from recreational play to the industry of sport, we need to have a shift in our cultural mindset.
Hello.
We have to recognize that play is not idleness. If you build an economic philosophy around play, we have an industry. So if you look at our school system and our culture generally, we tend to think that students who are not bright should be involved in play. And we're making a grave error with that type of assumption. We have to recognize the value of play, the value of games, and ultimately the collaboration of these forces to create sport. So the people with disabilities are performers, but the industry of sport exists. Manufacturing of gears, manufacturing of equipment, the media. So you don't have to necessarily be a performer to engage in the business of sport. There is the nutritionist, the physiotherapist, there is sports work that exists. But what we need to have in our space is a different respect for the player. We have to move the player from just being an idle person to a person who is within a framework of development. And not everybody will become a professional player, but the businesses that are attendant to professional sport will be a field in which they can enter. 8 minutes?
Gone.
Irene.
Okay, we can give you 3 minutes.
Okay. Okay, so I'll wrap up by contextualizing the play and sport dichotomy. It's a binary, and we are told that work and play exist on an x-axis. There's work here, and there's play there. And when you work hard and you're tired, they say you must go and play. But there is no point of rest. There's no point of rest. There is also the recognition that a carpenter can also be a lover of music. And a musician can love to work with wood. So one man's work could be the other man's play. We have to begin to deconstruct that binary of work and play, that we can free our energies to recognize that there is value in play. And from play, we can develop the industry of games, toys, manufacturing of toys. There are so many things that can be generated around games, uniforms. It's a whole set of industry. We just have to open the mind and recognize that play is not idleness. Play surrounded by an economic philosophy leads to development. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Armanda. Now, I did say you wouldn't see me again, but we're going to pause a little to allow the room to be opened up so that more persons can actually fit in. And while that is being done, I just want to thank Dr. Black for that presentation. Some very interesting thoughts. And also to introduce to you Dr. Kadamawi Naik, who is going to be taking over from me and who will also be presenting. So Dr. Naik is no stranger. He is a senior lecturer at the Mona School of Business and Management. He's also the director of the Center for Entrepreneurship, Thinking and Practice. And he has very much, through his research work, been one of the key motivators behind the social entrepreneurship movement in Jamaica and the Caribbean. So we're looking forward to hearing from him and to have him close out in sharing the session. Oh, excellent. So I'll invite those who are on the outside to come in. We've opened up the room so there are more seats. Thank you very much. And this is just an indication of the relevance and importance of this theme of employment, participation, and entrepreneurship opportunities. So I'll move directly into our second speaker. Mr. Paul Wilson will come forward. Give him a hand as he comes, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how many of you know about Creative Craft Plus, but I'm here to inform you and to talk to you a little about it. Creative Craft Plus is an innovative entrepreneurial entity aimed at creating employment for those with disabilities, especially the blind and visually impaired. I will attempt to explain to you the reasons for the establishment of this eventful project aimed at firmly putting the disabled who are sufficiently interested on a path of solid economic and social footing. I will attempt to show you how the organization was brought about to lessen the extremely high number of unemployed personnel among the disabled community. I will show you ways in which Creative Craft Plus, hereafter lovingly referred to as CCP, has sought to inculcate the appropriate skills and attitudes in these individuals so as to enable them to function effectively in the world of work. I will talk to you about the governmental institutions that have collaborated with CCP over the years so as to make the project relevant to the needs of the blind and visually impaired, in particular, who require their own autonomy. I will share with you supportive mechanisms implemented by CCP to ably assist beneficiaries of the program subsequent to training. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, just a toast of the successes of CCP that CCP has enjoyed over the years. It is said that after a good meal, nigoritis, which I don't really sure what that means, sets in. But I see that this is not the case today. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him to fish, and he will feed himself and his family for their entire life. We have held fast to this motto since the conception of Creative Craft Plus. Over the years, our mandate has been to move persons with disabilities, particularly the blind and visually impaired, forward socially and economically. We have endeavored to do so through the vehicle of self-employment. So, how did it all begin? Well, as the popular entertainer Mr. Nesbitt would say, let's start at the very beginning. The years 1960 through 1969 were probably the most rewarding years of my life. I attended the Salvation Army School for the Blind, which was then headed by an outstanding couple from England. They were the late Major and Mistress Bernard Weeks, two individuals significantly assisted in molding my life, supervising quality education and guidance, and most importantly, they instilled in us tremendous value of respect for one another. The precious lessons of how to set goals and work towards achieving them. The Wickses were vigorous in that they were visionaries, in that they were aware of the fact that the blind and visually impaired needed their own independence. The couple were instrumental in finding employment for most of us after we finished schooling, and for me that was the case. Straight to Elite Haberdashery downtown. And by 1973, myself and a few of my brothers, I mean past students of the school, indeed that's how we were taught to treat one another, decided that we would go the route of music. Not just to entertain ourselves and others, but to create a real way of bringing a meaningful employment opportunity for ourselves. So we started with producing songs like Romping in My Room, which was about a man who was working so hard to care for his lady at home. And you know what? When he was out, she was romping with another man. Then you had another one called Cayman's Rock, which was introduced by, I'm sure you know him, Mr. Derek Palmer. And if you enjoy listening horse racing, you will hear the introduction, same thing that we use in Creative Craft Plus. However, it was considered that we would do far more efficient and provide more job opportunities if we were to form a band. So on Easter Saturday of 1976, a group of us met at the then Jamaica Daily News to determine the name of that band. After a vigorous consultation, two names emerged: the Inner Eye and the Unique Vision Band. Ladies and gentlemen, no prizes will be rewarded for you to hazard a guess as to what name was chosen. So on Black Saturday of 1976, the Unique Vision Band was established. The band's first big performance was at Carifesta in July at the National Arena. Shortly after that, we performed at a show called Where It's At, which used to be broadcast at JBC TV. The review of the performance a Unique Vision received was not at all flattering. Verona Ricketts, conductor of the review, remarked that the only good thing about the performance was that a group of blind persons was enjoying themselves. We deemed this review a challenge and vowed to up the ante. The following year, we landed a big show in Negril. The payment of $9,000 was a sizable bag of money, enough to pay ourselves for that week, to buy another instrument, and to feel proud of ourselves. We got the opportunity to mingle with the celebrities, eating brown bread and pink bread, and really enjoy the life of the rich for that one next morning.
Which is right.
Shortly after this, Mr. Frankie Campbell, the leader of a Fabulous Five Incorporated band, was approached to jointly lead the band with myself. His experience provided the opportunity to develop the band rapidly, to acquire more and better instruments, and to get more shows. His leadership technique, ladies and gentlemen, was very great. So, from a humble beginning, the Unique Vision Band has traveled the world, including Russia, and back up the best of singers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was not really an outstanding musician or great singer. Yes, I could play the tambourine and the xylophone, as well as find one or two jobs for the band. That was what I did. But the nightlife had become a little too challenging for me. In fact, I lost my part-time job at the Daily News because of that. So I wanted to move on to something that would provide a more opportunities for the blind and visually impaired persons in the world of work. That opportunity came in 1983 when the Salvation Army closed its workshops for the blind. We were able to establish a business at 120 Constant Spring Road, where we offered most of the services that the Salvation Army workshops provided, using the trickle-up method, where one person taught the other to do these projects. We quickly got it right. And for the next 5 years, we operated out of this area. However, in 1988, we were faced with a real challenge. The building we occupied was sold, and we were on the streets again. Having no home, the workers drifted. But in 1999, good news caressed our ears. The Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities had vacated the building where they occupied at Hanover Street. We immediately sought audience with the amazing Mr. Wright, then Executive Director at the Council, about commitment of our program. He was very pleased and offered us his full support to restart the program. I pause here wholeheartedly to commend Mr. Wright for his foresight and sharp acknowledgement of the significance and the weight of the venture. Mr. Wright have always shown an undying belief and confidence in persons with disabilities. So, partly as a result of his support and out of his that of Professor Abel and the Food for the Poor, Creative Craft Plus was re-established in September 1999 to train and equip the disabled, mainly the blind and visually impaired. I hear my time is up, but just 2 minutes. This is real big. In 2002, CCP secured a 4-month training program by the Lift Up Jamaica program. As a result, 10 blind and visually impaired persons were trained and certified. Immediately following this, CCB entered into a contract with the Heart Trust for a 1-period 6-month training program. This lasted for 12 years. And what about our successes? We are proud to say that all the employees at Superior Craft Plus, which is operated out of the Jamaica Society for the Blind, were trained at Creative Craft. Mr. Angela Samuels, who is the manager of Mobile Craft. Mr. Webster, who goes around and peddle his wares, as well as Lennox Duncan, all doing well and trained with creative craft. The program at CCB attempts to impart the following skills: chair caning, furniture cording, and wicker craft. On Fridays, trainees are exposed to invaluable mobility training, maths, and English. The CCB ensure that trainees are exposed to resource personnel who enlighten them on entrepreneurship. The last training program was between June 2016 and September 2016, where the Jamaica Social Investment funded. And I'm almost there. Ladies and gentlemen, over 10 training programs Ladies and gentlemen, over 10 training programs, over 80 persons have been trained. The trickle-up approach has been good for us. My blind colleagues, my disabled friends, nothing is wrong with starting at the proverbial foot of the ladder. Start on the things you believe you can do well, especially if the able-bodied thinks that you can do them as well. You can spend quality time determining your goal. Plan the relevant step you need to take to determine them. Remember, if you fail to plan, then you have already failed. According to the famous entertainer Buju Banton, he says, "Driver, don't stop at all. You are the drivers of your life. You can play a significant role in the shaping of your destiny. Please take charge. Hurdle the barriers that society has placed, and don't stop at all." Thank you.
Step over. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hear that we must be proactive. I don't know which one it is, but we must cut down. So I'm going to try and see if all this whole heap of thing that I have here, I can get through it quickly. I represent the National Culture Group for the Blind, which is a folk music group. And you know, my music has always been a very dominant and meaningful force in the lives of blind and visually impaired persons over the centuries. And the names of famous individuals and groups come very readily to mind. Well, we think of Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Fab Five Incorporated, Adina Edwards, and Roy Richards, to name just a few. These persons have provided music in all the various genres, whether pop music, gospel, etc., and have made their indelible mark. To date, many blind persons still function informally, trying to eke out a living on the streets. So there are many blind persons who are still on the road trying to play music and trying to entertain people. Somehow it seems that music is a very special God-given gift to blind persons, to the blind fraternity. In this presentation, I would like to showcase the National Culture Group for the Blind, which has been in progress for many years, and see how it is a folk music group, and we produce the folk music of the Caribbean and Jamaica. Just to give you a little taste of our music, I would like our engineer to touch number 6, yes, and you'll hear what the National Culture Group sounds like. Just continue. Oh. Just kidding. Okay. Yes. You ready? All right.
Number 6?
Number 6, yes.
Reading.
Number 6. No, 6. 6. 6. 6. No. 6. Swing low. Swing low. Sorry, historical background. We got it? Oh dear, sorry. Sorry, our audio is not quite ready. You think we're already almost there? No. No. Oh gee, no, I didn't want that one.
No, we're playing.
Alright, historical background.
It's going there.
Yeah. The National Culture Group for the Blind was founded in June 1979. Okay. Yes, I think we're ready now. Just a taste. Oops. Number 15. Yes. Okay, so that was just a taste of the cake. Sorry the audio took a little time, but can you just imagine what it is when you are playing it through your heavy speakers at home and turning it up and disturbing your neighbor? Historical background. The National Culture Group for the Blind was founded in June 1979 by a group of blind and visually impaired persons who felt that they needed to express themselves culturally by performing the music of Jamaica and the Caribbean. This has been a journey. This has been a journey filled with challenges, but the members of the group have stuck with it. We have been exposed to so many things that have helped us to improve and enhance the quality of our music. Some of these include voice training and choreography and stage presentation. We do music in gospel, folk. We are mostly a folk group, but we do music in gospel and contemporary. Our musicians have had to work very hard to hone their skills. So we usually have guitarists and drum, and sometimes we have percussionists, and they have to work very hard to improve their skills and to enrich our product. It was hoped when the group was started that it would provide even basic employment opportunities for blind persons at its inception. It was seen as the public education arm of the Jamaica Society for the Blind. So when we started, we worked along with the Jamaica Society for the Blind, and when we had concerts throughout Jamaica, we wanted to show people that blind persons could do things, could comb hair, could peel oranges. You know, that was one of those first things in those way back days. We felt that, you know, our group would go to these events and give a good concert And we would also have a time when we would do our dub poetry, we would do dancing and so on, and we would show people. So it was a full package that they would have. Events and venues of performances. The group has performed at many different types of events. We have established ourselves nationally. We have performed at seminars and meetings, conferences throughout the island. Additionally, we have performed annually at the Jamaica Cultural Development Festival, Institute of Jamaica and Bank of Jamaica lunchtime concerts, and we have done church programs. We have also done church programs. We have done church programs as well as in the hotel circuit. Unfortunately, we have constantly faced discrimination because of our disability. Sometimes the hotels, you know, they invite us to come and give a performance, and then they say they would take us, but somehow sometimes they say the group is too large, so they can't take so many people to overnight, or when they don't say that, they find some other thing. And then with the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, sometimes they don't even offer us jobs during the festival period so that we could get enough jobs. We have to search, we have to beg them to give us jobs. So that is one of the things that we have faced as a disabled group. In 2008, December 2008, the group produced its only recording entitled "I Come With This I Come," and this is the recording on which you hear the swing low, and you will hear another one at the end. We were able to do this with the assistance of Chase Fund. The double CD album consists of 30 songs in the folk, gospel, and contemporary genre. We launched our CD in May of 2009. We have been trying to sensitize the public and specifically the schools by selling our album so that they will learn the songs, you know, because we do not want our culture to die. So we are really making a great effort to sensitize people in the public to let them learn some of the songs that we have on our CD. So it's 30 songs. And so when you buy an album like this, you get 30 folk songs, gospel songs, you know, you get them to listen to and listen to the beauty of our group. Unfortunately, very regrettably, we have not been able to experience a foreign tour. Clearly, it means we need to get a manager, a good manager with possessing good marketing strategies and with a knowledge of the cultural outlets in foreign parts. We have to acknowledge, though, the help that we have received from so many persons over the years. Over the years, we wish to acknowledge a number of persons in the folk music fraternity who have been significantly assisted us. We think of Marjorie Wiley, who has helped us with workshops, assisted us, and with seminars and workshops to improve our voices. Barry Moncrief, one of our very greatest critics, but one of our greatest friends. He's of the Edna Manley School of Dance, and he has helped us with training in choreography. Carrie folk singers and the Jamaican folk singers, our brothers and sisters who have shared their stage with us. Sometimes when they have their seasons of concerts, they allow us to be with them on their concerts. And you know, one time Mr. Moncrief said, we did a concert with Jamaica folk singers, and Mr. Barry Moncrief said, you know, National Cultural Group people, you almost made the Jamaica folk singers people look like they're not trying, because your movements were so, I don't know if he was trying to boast, or he said our movements were so, you know, good that we made the Jamaica folk singers people look out of place. I have 4 recommendations here which we think should be put into place in order to sort of get the disabled persons more into the whole matter of culture. So the following are 4 recommendations which we think should be made to effectively include persons, because we're talking about inclusion, to include persons with disability in the field of culture. One, training seminars should be conducted with heads of music departments in primary and secondary and tertiary institutions to sensitize them about our cultural music. And of course, disabled persons could assist with the conducting of these seminars. Two, we should initiate cultural exchange programs among embassies and high commissions in Jamaica, so that, you know, we could which might result in our groups getting tours, foreign tours abroad. And we should also, we should also, funds should be allocated by the government. We feel that the government should allocate funds so that disabled persons could benefit from cultural development projects. And we also would like the government should ensure that the Jamaica Development Commission should more include disabled persons, like National Cultural Group for the Blind, in their programs during the years, whether state programs, whether, you know, funerals, state funerals, or the festival things, or any other state events that are taking place. They should include disabled persons in those programs so that we can be seen, more seen. In conclusion, I would just say that the members of our group are very, very much conscious of our culture, and they have stuck with us all these years through the rough times, and they still love the Jamaican music. We need some exposure. We need marketing strategies, we need help, and we need the employers also to give us some help. The employers in the hotel industry, think of us. When we call on you, don't completely say to us that you cannot take us. Try us. We are true professionals. Barry Moncrief, Marjorie Wiley, the folk singers, they have all signified us as good professionals. Try us, give us a chance. Let us show you what we can do. We love our culture. Thank you. And Frankie Campbell of Fab 5 and Stage Records, they helped us to put the program together. So you're going to hear the last one. Just a little piece of it even. Time?
Start music and bridging.
Okay.
Distributor setting.
See, yes, we have.
Where can we get CD to buy?
From the 15. You can get CDs to buy. You can call you can call me. My number is 315-6551, or you can call. You can call 779-4715. You'll just hear a little piece of this dip and call back. And you can call, they are up at the Society for the Blind.
I would just thank Mr. Lawson for that presentation, yes? And the music here. Alright, we know some people are worried about the time.
Yes.
Can't watch no over time. How much time we get to sit down and talk about what we talk about? Yes, so we know it's important to keep the time, you know. I mean, that is crucial, but at the same time, if we get a chance to speak, we need the time and speak, you know. I'm a presenter, I'm a panelist. My time I'm a runner, but everything good. I think it is crucial to get your own peers to speak to you. Alright, so my role as a speaker is inside the entrepreneurial mind of persons with disabilities, the role of social entrepreneurship. Yes? Now, note, you know, that I have a lot of biases, so note that I start to run my biases that I was on Taylor Hall. But don't know much people know about Taylor Hall. See? It's a Dessalva University. True. See that but I'll tell you my bias. So I was on Butcher's Block and I learned about Father Christmas, who is now Dr. Ixwell Douglas. See, and so that virgin was in my head all the while, you know, and I was now working at the Students' Bureau after a while, and I booked some of those later became Ray Charles, you know, Dr. Floyd Morris. Now, why I'm saying those things? Because from what I learned about Ixwell Douglas, when I met this virgin Ray Charles, Douglas was walking just now, but when I learned about Father Christmas, I said to myself, this virgin is so remarkable because I hear the first person to come on the campus. Thinking in education, I get a first class, and then was the valedictorian for the university, the first visually impaired valedictorian. Then we learned about Conrad from Chancellor who went into media and communication. Long and short is still hall became a hall that was really improved and amplified by the presence of persons that we claim today have disabilities. You know, I don't know how much persons know that most of these persons became role models for many of us because of the kind of discipline they actually showed in doing their work. And out of the work that was being done now by Rachel, because Christmas, of course, I'm not calling Father Christmas because that's the name of him as, you know. Christmas was the elder and he was no longer on the block. Although he came back after a while, but he was no longer on the block. And so the program surrounded how do we support Floyd Morris with his work. And they built a program where students start to read. We used to call him Rachel, the girls, them eyeballs. The American man read film, his only woman can read film. You know? So he created that program, but out of those programs, the university saw the efficacy of this thing and started their own program. Yes? And out of it came what is called the Center for Disabilities Studies. And if you know, the university by far is a leading institution in terms of preparation for persons with any form of disability, in terms of infrastructure itself. And all that came out of the work of many of those persons. So Optical later came on, Stevie Wonder, them, all these kind of musician names they gave them because of the kind of skill that we thought that they were brought to the heart. Now, Jamaica, of course, was the first country to sign this UN Convention for supporting persons with disabilities. But the supporting word is bare talking. Because I still walk and saw the drain them stay up on the road. Even if you walk by society for the blind, if you're not careful, as people who can see you still book your foot and fall. But don't like rubber chatting. Yes? Yeah, because start put some more effort in doing this thing here properly. High levels of discrimination. Despite the fact that we have been the first to sign out of the work of Sean Harvey, who was a graduate student, I marked his MSc paper. It showed that all these things were signed, but the people still face a lot of discrimination. You know, so I actually place persons with disabilities in what we call vulnerable groups. If you're not a part of the state of school, you're vulnerable. Yes. It's as simple as that. 99% of the people in Jamaica are vulnerable because of 1% of the state of school. You understand me? I say, I will slow and check this thing here. Then people don't care for nobody except themselves. Whether you're able or disabled, from your poor, they don't know business about it. It's as simple as that. You know? They just say discriminate something for more than others. Yeah, that's why we happen Ray Charles going to the Senate, but they need more strength in the Senate because they attack and still not going to strengthen again. You see what I say? So now, no, they have revised the MSME policy, and I had a chance to be the person who revised that policy in terms of the lead consultant. And within the policy, we have a lot of things that was cross-cutting themes: youth, gender, and personal disabilities. Very important, which means that in the policy we are saying that you have a set of people who have a certain kind of skill set, but because they lack social capital, because of health of discrimination, you need to ensure that programs are there in place. Mr. Conrad down at the back, don't mess us around. Yes, Conrad, see? Yeah, so we look at those guys and we need to put these things in place. I want to question the skill set of persons now, because I will tell you that I'm average. And part of my bias, because I know most of the people who come through the university, see? But I realize an average persons who come with disabilities tend to perform and outperform persons who think of normal abilities. But I want to clap too low, that's why we got distracted by Greenwood. Yeah, I spoke of a social thought and I said, but Charles didn't think this. But so many distractions that we would face, you don't face. That's what I'm saying, it's inside the entrepreneurial mind, because now we're in a different kind of time and space and place, wherever it's called the information age. So guess the people who feel that the disabilities are worried about. Robots are going to take over them work. Because as we go further with information and technology, it's not much about your physical ability anymore now. It's about your mental ability. Because we can build a robot who can replace a doctor, which is what is going to happen. But we can't replace the mind who build the robot. So now, what the advantage? Because most of my brethren would have said disabled have serious mental capacity, you know. So the information age, within the information age, I find that this cohort of people have an advantage over the people who think they don't have no disabilities. Because they can't sit down and think, check them out. They cannot sit down and think out someone properly, you know. Because we're easily distracted by so many other things. But the question is, do you see yourself as the person who are going to have that advantage? And what kind of skill set now we are going to develop? Because in the age of millennials, full information age. I'm just saying the fact are we now going to focus focus on things like coding and animation and robotics for persons who themselves have disabilities. Because that is the language that you're going to use to create every enterprise, you know. It's not no lifting up of anything like that, you know. It's mine. And you must remember that what is the greatest value of today? Intellectual property, not physical property. Okay. It's brain power. So the ICT age has equalized the playing field upon which we can practice. So not having discrimination because of fear and insecurity. It's not because there is something wrong with anybody except themselves. Yes. Check all of those people who behave away towards people who think of any form of disabilities. And guess what? You know that them suffer from the highest form of disability. Yeah, it's a mental disability they have, you know. Them can't live good with each other, that's why they have all of these things. And they have a lot of fear. You know? Now, we know we not much time. I know some have a full presentation, but we not have to spend time to talk about the food. No, the time will run out. See? So now, the MDGs have indigo children, which are these special children whose brain are designed to multitask and do 5-6 things at one point in time. Just as though you have to do 5-6 things when you walk on the road. Remember, you know? Yeah, and I call multitask. When I walk on the road, I say, look where I go. You have to feel, you have to listen, you have to do all of these things. So your brain already programmed to multitask. Yes? Now Jamaica is going to be the first, second and third city, you know. We're going to be the third city in central Jamaica. Where do you see yourselves? What kind of role are you going to play right here? Logistics hub is going to occur. We have a place that's called the social economy. Now the social economy is where non-traditional actors play out and try to do what they want to do. So all these organizations like Jamaica Society for the Blind, for the deaf, etc., these are part of the social economy. What we are saying is that these organizations must take a different kind of attitude towards your engagement. We like begging. When my human mother be, I must beg. We don't like beg organizations either. You have to find a way to establish your own independent enterprise activity. That's why we rate Ray Charles, because when Ray Charles come on the campus, them time I usually eat meat before me a far right. But it's Ray Charles yard, all the chicken them come from to raise is a chicken business from my yard. Okay. That is in 1994. Okay. Alright, we're born beggar. Yeah. You might tell you, yeah, I show you yeah. Because I know the kind of brain power you have. I know the kind of brain power. I'm going to study in yard, because Ray Charles yard and see how I move through the fall come. I mean, self-reliance and cultural security, Rastafari. You know? So we realize the power and the skill set that people actually have. You know? I mean, a lot of people talk about say you're the mentor. You know? Oh, now if you're a mentor, them they know that most of my mentors are bridge who they're visually impaired. Because you see, I have to see. You know, if now so much things that I can do, I'm ready to say, Charles, them hours are excel and Christmas are excel, Carol are excel, optical, all the people are excelling. So how come we could have failed? I can't fail. I have too much positive environment to make me not succeed because I learn from people. Yes? Programs are there though. Now pay attention to these programs because they are there and funding is there. But find that sometimes people don't know, so they don't have access to funding and they probably don't have the structure. So you put yourself in structure. So NHT, and I'm calling social venture programs. So if you live in an NHT scheme, you can actually get funding through their organization, through their programs to run businesses, because I do not promote programs that don't have business in it, you know. Yeah. I mean, you can run a program without money. So if you have any program, show me the enterprise that is going to support. That's what I talk about social entrepreneurship. It's a process of creating value by bringing together what? A unique set of resources in order to seize an opportunity. By creating economic value, social value, and environmental value. And the money you make is not for your pocket only, but to expand the program and expand the business. That's why you must work in group. SDC have them local economic initiative. JCF has already two programs, a basic needs funds program, basic needs. We don't put up food for the poor here, you know. I have not placed food for the poor here, and they have programs. Comet is working in a number of communities. They have a place in FHI 360 who have programs, Digital Foundations, Back to Root, and Queen Young Leaders program. That's what it's called, the Mickey programs. JN Foundation get a lot of money from USA to promote these same kind of social enterprise programs. So your group, Virgin, Mr. Wilson, your group must get funding from these people now, kind of a structure there. Yes. And plus the Universal Service Fund, and somebody mentioned earlier, $15 billion to spend and struggling to spend it. Okay. Struggling. You know, I said to Charles earlier that we love to talk about ICT, but the first person who see that talking what was Ray Charles. It's Flying Maris. It's recently up to come out to them Siri program where actually talk on the phone. So tell them that the people who have disabilities were actually more advanced in the ICT than the people who could alarm all the things. So you don't forget that that is what ICT is built to ensure that people can do much more things much more easier, but you must know the language. That's why you have to learn English and Spanish and French to talk to people. You have to learn coding to do these things.
Amen.
And don't take 10 fingers and 10 toes to do it. You take brain. It's brain you take, and the whole of have brain. Matter of fact, we have better brain than most people. You see people who claim them alright around the country and the countries are mashed up. Give some people who live in the country to run with them, man. I know say my aim is gone already. Yeah, my aim is gone and I cheers have to observe. You have to observe that. Let me just stop on this last thing. There's a whole full presentation she can get. But stop on the last thing. Characteristics. Oh, you know what are the characters on entrepreneur? Because I'm a teacher at university. I would like to say, okay, I'm going to listen to these guys and tell them about yourself. This person named Timmons in 1994, that's when Ray Charles just come on the campus. You must have commitment and determination. You must have leadership skills, opportunity obsession, tolerance of risk, ambiguity and uncertainty, creativity, self-reliance and ability to adapt, and motivation to excel. I don't have to read no book for that because I see Charles every day, I see Christmas every day. These things are evident in front of us. You ever argue, you must be a calculated risk taker. Now from you leave your yard, you start take risk. Yes. We're not asking that. Once you leave your yard, first you have to start calculating from your yard which part you're going to go and how you're going to move through and take the risk. There's a calculated risk taker. It's a key because of an entrepreneur. Confident. Not if you're not confident, they're dead already. Most people, but generally yourself as people like to discriminate against. If you're not firm in yourself, they mash it down every day. So who knows you're confident? There's no question about that. See? Now, visionary. We ain't gonna have a society for the blind and right up on the wall, man. But the vision is same, no. Yeah. Visionaries are not questioning those who are visionaries. If you can tell yourself that you're going to get up and go out there and make it, in the kind of space that we have, you must have something in your mind, some kind of vision as to what you want to get done. Creative and innovative. Turn your hand make fashion. Craft, superior craft, or broader place. Turn your hand make fashion, we'll see it go. Amen. But have to. People who don't have an abundance of resources have to be extremely innovative and creative. Amen. So by design, you are innovative and creative. Courageous. Well, you have to be brave. Jamaica, you can't help but being brave, you know. And you have to be persistent. But no, it go, man. You have to be persistent. Strategic thinker. Well, we know it well. Remember just say this. No, you realize that we're not politicians still now. Remember saying. No, you realize that Ray Charles have a lot of brethren who are Seventh-day Adventist members, see? And nothing in politics.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you know how long them things them are going to politics? It's more than from before about 1996. All them know. See one round so Arnold Brown round here. You have Flying Maris. I mean, we know them because we just see red pot. I mean, all of us run both together. You know, but them think all these, they also strategize and they make the Seventh-day Adventist population the largest Christian population on the campus and the most effective group as well. It's Charles them do it, you know? It's Charles them do it. I'm going to take them to strategize and strategize and strategize. The thing is that we know that people are strategic thinkers. Yes. They are strategic thinkers and team players. One hand can't clap a million make the work like, you know? But I know what as a student on campus, they have me as a kind of underground boss, you know? Send a bad man to come from jungle. Yes. Now hold my fire in peace, Ray Charles. Everyone will go up on the campus and out together. I remember one time we having elections on the campus, and I'm saying them can't vote for Ray Charles because it's the ganja tree I plant on the campus. So unless Charles can get me to cut down the ganja tree, they're not voting for him. Of course, I cut down the ganja tree because of my brother. When the election, I'm going to slam by the seed about the tree. But the point I'm making though, is that teamwork, see? Yeah, teamwork. And you see today, out of that year, all the Center of Disabilities studies have been merged. I also a center, the two of them are are the two ones who established centers in the university, and we are going to continue to collaborate. Because the Center of Outward Thinking is going to really support the Center of Disability Studies in terms of how do we establish enterprise amongst this very large community. You know, I'm going to end with this, I don't have more slides. It's the people who insecure and misguided and enslaved mind can't serve free people. As I say, and that's in our society where many of these persons are fully enslaved. They actually dislike themselves. If persons can't love themselves, they can't extend love to others as well. You know, so you have to know that. Remember, you know, he's a specialist of people. And I tell you, you're going to very ancient societies, there are people who tend to control the 5 slave senses: sight, taste, hearing, smell, and feeling. Because them say we're distracted by those 5 elements, so we cannot find self. If you have any form of what them call disability, it means that you have actually controlled some of those senses already. You know? And so you're easily to move on the path of self-actualization. And you'll find that an average person who have any form of disability tend to show more love to people than persons with full abilities. Because they recognize that life is beyond just what is the material and the physical. See, Rachel's always laughing like gone on the camp. I was like, if I can't stay back and belly, so walk and buck up. Give thanks, I'm loving you. I was forgetting about the chair. I have a chair so I can't read it. See? Alright. So, yes. It's a butcher's unit again, you know. And I said, it's the whole day I go straight. You're a butcher's unit for the no. Let me just really thank all the presenters, because I think some really good presentations came out today. And a lot of them actually emerged what they call cases. See? There are cases. And let me just emphasize. We know I'm on black for years. And I'm like, it is true. Things are driven by the creative mind. The creative mind is driven by what? Filled by what? Playing. Playing is not a waste of time. No. See? It's about innovation and creativity. Innovation is transforming ideas that are generated through play into meaningful goods and services. If you don't have no play, you have beer copy burger. Because they will just take other people's ideas. So recognize the importance of that thing of how do we play, but play is also enterprise. The biggest stress of people, the biggest fear of people in the world is stress. Yes? Then of course Mr. Wilson give a dear experience how you transfer from one state of enterprise into a next, from music into craft. But it's still a part of the creative industry. Yes? And again, Mr. Lawson speaking about what they do as creators as well. The creative industry is the biggest industry, you know. It's the biggest industry in Jamaica, and we have failed to really meaningfully grasp what can be done with it. I think persons with disabilities have led the way in terms of the creative industries, especially craft, etc., etc. So we must realize that again you might have a strategic advantage in those areas. Now let me open the floor for questions or comments. You know, if you have questions, you can make comments. See? So open the floor for questions or comments, and so we have 5 minutes. But two usually run a garage up on them hall, make a run 10 minutes now I think. And then know that. Alright. So any questions coming? Okay, let me just do we have room in mics?
No, the mission.
Alright, yes,
sitting down here. Alright, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Courtney speaking. You touch on a topic that where I say to Senator the other day too. We have a lot of talented, disabled person in Jamaica that can do a lot of things, music, singing wise. And I was saying to Senator, the minister need to give us a platform when like the gala come around, fireworks from the water fund, give me an hour to do with things, showcase with things, that we can be able to provide a meal and a table for our family. And we need to stand up as a disabled and make Babs great and whosoever come in. No, so we serious. We want it. And we not going to beg.
Alright. I want to know. Make sure. Hey, make sure the videos. I mean, I'm a chair for the Creative Cities thing about. Make sure those videos of these people performing today send to Babs Grange. Because we must say if them don't know, them can't do anything about it. But get get these things out there. Alright, next.
Okay, good afternoon everybody. My name is Camille, and as what Dr. Knife said earlier about creativity, my comment as persons with disabilities and as young ladies especially, we don't need to beg, because I do two things. One, I was trained down by Creative Craft Plus, and I am a gainful employer at Superior Crafts and More. But in the days, I also operate my small stall down by North Street, and it's not easy, but I must say to all our young ladies, especially, same as how I can do it, you can do it. I sell juice, I sell Whistler, I sell sweetie, I sell cigarette, and I sell biscuits. Yes, and now, as a visually impaired sister, I take on town as a Saturday gone. So every Saturday I'll be down there selling my juice. So, as what Dr. Nye says, my born beggar.
Now, Mr. George, are you going up in such a nursery? You must start thinking which was a nursery today. Yes, brother?
Yes, my name is Alvin Graham. I'm from Maple. What I realized in the school, Mr. Knight, is that they teach you English, math, and all these things. But they don't teach you how to create your own thing. So you have that mentality from basic come right up that you must be educated to do what you have to do. Nothing is wrong with that. But I'm in the position right now where I want to start a business, and I realize that I've been working for people all these years. And I want to do my thing. So the avenue in which you should get that funding, that's where I have the little problem in getting it. But now that you mentioned a couple of things where I can get it and how to go about it, I think then I'm on the right road.
We have to hear some guy now, because that's why I have the center right here. I don't know if anybody can make comments as relates to those things. When we get funding, I mean I can speak to them afterwards. But we have any other ideas, man, where funding sources are? No? If not, let us move to the next.
No, sir. No, not yet. Not yet. Greetings, each and everyone inside. And greetings to you all, so Mr. Knight. I heard you have 1 or 2 and verbal man come out all the time, but could one not know you for about 2 years, I don't know what happened to you. I'm glad to hear you today. And I cannot see you, I'm glad to hear you. Now, entrepreneurs thing now. What is entrepreneurs thing here? First of all, I want to greet you to our teacher. Okay. Now, this entrepreneur thing here, really. You mentioned the creative thing. Now, creative in certain areas, computer can get our brain because we have to use a brain for my computer. Now, the next thing about it, I do cheer card in Wickerbox and son, really. Now, those first time partner cheers that I used to make them do. I cannot get them anymore. I designed some of that plastic pipe. So we still creating things, you know. Yeah. But the market is not there for it. So we need to get some market from one of those hotels. I live in Portland, in other words. And we have left a hotel up there with Chevron, and they're importing things all of that up there, and don't get it in the work. So
let me make a point right here. So sometimes marketing, you have to know your market, bro. For example, no, Wicca is something when they put it outside and rain touch it to get away, yes? But do you know though, that in Guyana, and that's not even think business that are big way in Guyana, they have the same kind of vines down here in Guyana, and those are water resistant, just like them trees are water resistant. So the point I'm making is again, that's why I said that it's crucial, and how you are just a thing important. We must see how then do we get government relations, get access to material, not just the people with disabilities, but generally there's a short of access to material across the region. And the business bigger way and things, you know. There's also the diaspora, because enough people are foreign want things that they can actually use to remind themselves of Jamaica. But the problem is they can't make a big chair and send them foreign. They can make a small chair set like a dollar house set and buy it for them in foreign. So we look on product and product development. Alright, any other questions, comments? Yeah. Because music, time run out. Alright,
good evening everybody.
Okay, she started.
I am sitting here and I'm listening, and while I can agree, well, persons have their opinion saying them born beggar, but sometimes the same person them see the beggar them and beg them. I'm saying I am a professional entrepreneur. I was trained at the Hart College of Beauty Services as a massage therapist. I'm also a customer service rep. I walked with resume till my shoes left me. I am also, I make my own. If you look for me here, I make my own oil for me here. I'm know who can see it, can feel it. Alright? And I walk. Listen to me good. And so now, this time around, while the horse are starved, the grass are grow. A lot of horses out there. Whereas if you can't get the work, you have to end it up. Because I sing on the buses, I may not like it, but because I'm hungry, so I have to be doing such. I walk, I call on my blind friend, and I tell them, no phone, no me, I call at night. When I can't get the work, now I'm in training at the Micro University. So, teacher training. And I'm telling you, it's not because we want some of us to go and do the depletive things, but as I said, when the heart is starved, the grass is grow. We need help. Dr. Knight, thank you for telling me where to go, but we need instrumental, we need instrument to do it, to go there, Now we just come here now and talk, and then after that we not hear nothing. Deaf ears, come from blind ears, whatever work. As I said, we need work. The people that can work like me, they can good. And I'm telling you, so, they did have one more something to say, no. But so I'm saying, after today, search for me. I came third in JCDC festival competition. Give me back the tweet festival song. Somebody not give me the word. So, if you not born beggar, you must know. The beggar word. Yes. Thank you very much. There was a time the other session finished, you know. So it's finished, the more to stop and finish things. I say one more, I'm going to use my own chair or 30. Just a quick if you use one more, I'm going to give 6 more persons and things. So we'll actually end it right here. And with the sister with the thing with the begging thing. Yeah, but seriously, what we'll say, you know. When you say you use that beggar, because you try to sound out your thing, the beggar come and sit on the road and take it all in life. Right. That's a different kind of person and things, you know? Yeah. Alright, but we really thank you for coming over.
Just a quick announcement. Just like I have somebody, in terms of employment and talking about marketing, there's a volunteer at the Jamaican Society for the Blind. She just called me to remind me as I'm at the Disability Conference. She has orders coming in to create crochet bathing suits. And she's saying persons who are blind or visually impaired, she's willing to train them. She's there, she only has 3 persons. So she said anybody who wants to come, she's there. You can just call the Jamaica Society for the Blind.
Great. As I agreed, we went to end that. Know that the function of the Center for Disability Studies and thinking and practice to support persons who want the means to engage in enterprise development. So now, you have a space that they must target for the support. You know, there's big people asking for the mic, I'm going to change everything. But I have to stop at this point in time, yes? Yes. Okay. Thank you for the time. Sorry about that. But sorry about that, but really thank you for the time and all the participation. Next year, tell Charles must leave more time for the session to ask questions.
I'll start the right time.
I'm thanking thanking the presenters. Alright, in this room,
Alright,
so hold on. Listen, alright, we can't do it right now though, because the rural people also will need to go home and we are behind time. Right. So in this room right now will be benefits. Just remind me at the top.
Benefits for PWDs.
Right, benefits. For persons, yeah, thank you, Dr. Douglas. Benefits for persons with disabilities participating in cultural and sporting activities. The presenters are Denal Shim, Jefferson Davis, Sidney Thorpe, Peter Clark, and Arthur Taylor. Moderator is Dr. Hickswell Douglas. So that's in this room. And in the next room to my right, I'm facing the audience. So the next room to my right is sports management and commercialization. That will be Mr. Dwayne McIntosh and Miss Jacqueline Bennett, and the moderator is Dr. Iris Sutar. So just if you are staying in this room, remain.
And guess what? It's not going to be so easy to cool it down. The most I can tell you is that you're going to remain cool because guess what? When I live, I'm a tailor right like Brother Knife. And Brother Knife is my brother. And when I live in room, the campus, my name Father Christmas. Alright? So Christmas comes, so now I have to listen and watch out to see what goodies you're going to get. This afternoon, in this session, we're focusing, as you heard earlier on the benefits for persons with disabilities participating in cultural and sporting activities. A very interesting topic. And to help us explore that topic here this evening, and we hope we can get the same amount of energy like Brother Knife just generated, we have Mr. Denal Shim, and he is the president for the Jamaica Visually Impaired Cricket Association, blind cricket we call it. Then we have Mr. Jefferson Davis, and Mr. Davis is a technologist from big place called UTEP. And we have Mr. Sidney Saw. Sidney? I'm not seeing Sidney. Brother Sidney Saw. Sidney is a big-time musician, producer, yeah, big-time musician, producer, and talk show host. And Sidney has made his name in Fab 5 and all over Jamaica and the rest of the world. Then I have Mr. Peter Clark, another big-time musician who is in the house with us today, and he's going to share his wealth of knowledge. And the last person that we have up here is our Reverend. He's not doing any collection this afternoon. No offering for him this evening. We have Mr. Reverend Arthur Taylor, and he's a teacher at Lalaman Prep School. Let's put our hands together for the panel, ladies and gentlemen. So, hear me now, ladies and gentlemen, the interesting thing, for those who not see me, I am totally blind. As blind as you know what. Alright? But I seen everybody. And you look ready and willing and ready to go. We have 1 hour to do this session, ladies and gentlemen. We have 5 presenters. Those who do math would say we have 20 minutes a session, nothing can go so. Because we want to leave here early. So guess what? All the people up here with them long presentation, them long dissertation, it's going to chop down to 10 minutes. They're going to tell us the main points, and they're going to keep us on fire. Eh? Yeah, knives about certain things. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do some firebrand presentation, 10 minutes, so that we can get a few questions towards the end. Everybody say, I agree? I agree. Ah, so ladies and gentlemen, I call the first name up here, sir. Who was the first person and whose name I call up here this afternoon? Mr. Donald Shim. So, to get us going, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I want us to put our hands together as I pass the microphone to Blind Cricket President, Mr. Donald Shim. Donald? Yeah, you can do it from where you're sitting, if you want to do that.
So, good afternoon. Yes,
1 minute and on. By the way, just because I know some people up here not seeing so well, when them hear this, them know that them have 5 minutes to go. When them hear, them know that them only have 2 minutes left. Go ahead,
yes, so good afternoon. Everybody hearing me? Oh, the mic.
Could you ask if anyone has seen a blue water
they hear it? Check.
Oh, they're asking if anyone here has seen a blue water bottle. I guess somebody left it out around the place. Oh, it's out there.
Thank you.
Okay, so everybody hearing me? Yeah, because in the intro that time I won't spend long. I was going to ask you to sing me happy birthday. Actually, well, but I'm not going to do that. Actually, today is my 30th, so I'm thankful to be alive and here and all well. So, you know, in addition to being the president of the Jamaica Visual Impaired Cricket Association, I am also a player, a cricket player that is. You know, I've been a national representative since 2006, and I've represented Jamaica and the West Indies in visual impaired cricket. You know, and yes, well, we'll get to that in the end, you know, as doing my presentation. So I'm just here today to share my experience as it relates to the benefits gained by virtue of participating in sports, as well as the opportunities and my accomplishments. Alright, so oftentimes I know a person see me on the road and you know they will see you on television, things like that whenever we have an interview, so we are traveling overseas and they know that you're a West Indian cricketer, they will say that you are wealthy. You know, and they say that West Indies players get a lot of money and things like that. But once you represent the West Indies, people think that you are economically well off or financially well off. But you know, that is not the case in visual impaired cricket, as with most disability sports. I hear, since I've been here in person saying that they are disabled person, but I don't consider myself or anyone else in here as a disabled person. Instead, we are persons living with a disability, you know. So disabled persons cannot do anything at all, and I'm sure that myself and others are very competent, right? So, you know, despite the fact that I don't know how you look at it, but I'm a simple person, I don't know how you look at life, right? But despite the fact that you may not get a lot of money, sport is a big business now across the world. And we are seeing where the West Indies players, most of them just need a year and they turn into a millionaire. But it all depends on how you look at life. There are different ways in which you can benefit, and one of the ways in which I have benefited in a way that no one can ever take this benefit away from me. And that was virtue of getting a full scholarship from the Michael University College to complete my first degree in education. You know, you can play sport and you can acquire a lot of wealth and material things, but all of that can go down the drain and you can lose all of that, right? But I was able to gain a full scholarship to pursue my degree in education, and that has empowered me to gain employment and to support myself and my wife. We don't have any kids yet, but, you know, so we are getting there. So it all depends on how you look at life, right? Yes, and when you look at it, we live in a very insensitive society, Jamaicans, as it relates to persons' attitude towards persons living with disabilities, right? And being a national representative, representing the West Indies and Jamaica, that has actually improved my self-esteem. So this is one of the second ways in which I think that I would have benefited as a result of playing blind cricket over the years. you know, for Jamaica and the West Indies. You know, you're a national representative. Not too many persons actually get the opportunity to actually represent their country. And that is something that we have to take a lot of pride in. So once you're a national representative, I think that it is something that you are supposed to be very proud of. And okay, all right. I'm just gonna go through it quickly. I'm just gonna give you 4 benefits. 2 more, speak long. Anyways, so you know, it has actually playing cricket has actually improved on my public relations skills. You know, I'm more confident whenever I speak to the media. Having traveled to many different countries, about countless over 10 countries. Been to different places, you know, having to interact with the media, so it has actually helped me in that way. And being a national representative as well, we have to commend the government of this, on this. We are beneficiaries of a national sports insurance program. Yes. So whenever we go to the doctor, we don't have to worry about the expensive bills again, because majority of the bill is covered because we are national athletes, right? You know, so we have benefited in these ways. You know, so I'm a principal person, so if you're going to benefit, you have to justify it by your performance. So one of the ways in which I would have some of my accomplishments, and these were justified by my accomplishments at the regional level, I would have scored countless centuries for Jamaica. We are the most successful cricket team that this country has ever produced, because we have never lost a regional title, you know, regional 40-over title, and you know, yes. Over the years, since 2006, that we have the only time we don't win is when we don't participate because we don't have funding. So maybe this is an avenue that I can use to appeal to somebody out there might be listening, that we can get some support through our cricket program, because the funding is really lacking. I don't know if it's because of the economic viability of it. We don't have a lot of corporate sponsorship, right? But it's something that we can explore, okay? So I have also captained Jamaica, so I'm still the president, and there was one year when I captained the team, and having to serve in the capacity of president, captain, and we won the 40-over and the T20 title in that same year. So, you know, yes. Alright, so 2 minutes. Alright, so I'm just gonna go away from the accomplishments regionally. At the international level, when West Indies formed the team, the first time we ever played a match as a West Indies team, we defeated the New Zealand team back at the World Cup in 2006 in Pakistan by 10 wickets. I scored 80 and not out. They are just looking at the accomplishments, okay? Alright, some of the opportunities now, you get the opportunity to travel. You are exposed to different cultures. I never dreamed that I would actually be into countries such as India, Pakistan, and things like that, and meeting new people. And you know, I was just thinking about it after I wrote my abstract, then I said, you know, that this is one of the opportunities that I get and I didn't realize. So some of these times now, whenever you go to the American embassy to get a visa, one of the things that they look on is your travel history. And when they travel a lot, they tend to look like and say, okay, this person is not a really flight risk, so I can get my visa. So that was one of the ways in which I think that I would have benefited again, yeah, as a result of me traveling all over the place. Alright, so looking at it now, comparing disabled sports with the Caribbean and the rest of the world, it's like it's a first world system versus third world. Because these first world countries have more resources, so they are able to fund more activities where sports participation a person with disabilities is concerned. Maybe not a first world country, but even in Pakistan, players who play visual impaired cricket, they actually are on retainer contract, so they get a set monthly salary, and that is equivalent to what a teacher would be paid in Jamaica. So these guys, you know, get paid for playing the sport. Okay, so is that my time? Yes. Alright, so I wish I had more time to talk to you, but I was just coming down to the end.
Well, guess what? If you give him Brata, guess who will stay much longer? We'll take the Brata towards the end. We'll just ask it. Any question you want answered, you just ask him, and he has all the answers. Because guess what? He's on a mission.
Alright, so thank you very much for listening. I'm not used to this deal, but I'm used to playing quick innings, so I don't really have a problem. Alright, so thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here, and also the questions you want in the end.
One just hit before a 6. Alright, thank you so much, Biennial. An excellent presentation done on a real sprint, and he's not an athlete. But at this time, we're going to bring to the wicket. The next person is going to be Mr. Jefferson Davis, and he's a technologist from UTech. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Master Jefferson Davis, technologist. You're going up on the stage now? Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Could I just ask one of the volunteers to take the microphone across to Jeffrey for me, please, with the stand. He's going to need that to deliver effectively. So quickly. Jeffrey?
Right here.
All right, right. Thanks, my brother. Just for the adjustment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
A little more adjustment.
Yes. My name is Jefferson Davis, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to present this very important conference, and thank the organizers for the good work in this regard. I will speak on the topic benefits of participating in sports activities as a person with physical disability. This will of course be from my lens, and I hope it will serve as an inspiration to all in the audience. Firstly, I must tell you a little bit about myself. I noticed that the computer is not, the person operating the computer is not here. So I have some representation of my slides to go on screen for everyone to see. Anyway, physical disability and sports at Jamaica perspective with opportunities that sports, disability, and the recommendation for explaining. A bit about myself is I contracted poliomyelitis at about age 3. Lived both in Mona Rehab Center and Montego Bay during my childhood. Attended Montego Bay Technical Institute specializing in business studies. In 1975, I started working at CAS as service tours keeper, multiple short courses related to surveying and short courses. St. George's Extension, I did my O-levels, certificate diploma, and plus BSc Construction at UTEC. Currently long-serving technologist UTEC, awarded for service distinction at UTEC. My sporting exploit as a very long and historical views. My exploits have seen where, if I can read this, it's a long thing. I've got 13 gold medals, 6 silver and 5 bronze during my tenure. I started out in 1976 when I went to Canada for the Olympics for the first time, but we did not compete. However, my next time was in 1978. I won a gold and a silver. Then 1980, I won javelin gold with a world record. That was in Holland. And then in 1982, I won a javelin gold world record again. Then I went to the Pan American Wheelchair Games in Caracas, Venezuela, where I won gold, silver, and bronze. Stoke Mandeville in England, the international games. That is the year I got into trouble. I won javelin and pentathlon gold, both gold. But that year saw me was so bitter and sweet, because when I came back, before I came back, I found out that South Africa was at the game. Then, after that, I withdrew during the games. And when I withdrew during the games, other countries that were there followed suit. And then it became the national and international news media all over the world. And it got to Jamaica before I could come back. And so when I came back, you know, they took me to the sword. My own club wanted to ban me, and I was called on the radio program by Honorary White. So it wasn't tough. It was really nice. I tried to explain, but nobody would listen. And then Professor Golding, who was the the chairman at the time took it upon himself to explain to them after I told him what happened. And then my club still was at me, and then I got a letter from the Prime Minister's office. I showed it to them and everybody back off. Wow. Then the following year I went back again. When I went back again, I do two more, and if you see that photograph today, that is me throwing the javelin, and that is my specialty event that I've dominated for many years. So when I went back the following year, I made sure that I went to the Jamaican Council in London to ensure that South Africa was there. I want 4 gold medals. Yes. So I want to make sure that I'm in the clear. Then the following year, I went back again and I just keep winning, and I win the 1988 Paralympic grand silver medal and the bronze medal in 1996. Now, benefits of sports. According to Raw, 2 minutes now?
No man, you have 5.
Raw, being involved in sports can improve the health, well-being, and the quality of life for any person with a disability. True. It is understandable that a physical disability such as polio will inhibit free use of muscles and limbs. However, this need not be a reason to excluding sport from any daily practice. Benefits may be derived in various ways as physical, psychological, social, and economic. I could elaborate on this, I will take 1 day.
Yes.
Physics, let's get a little bit on the benefit side. Without movements of funds and limbs, persons may lose use of their body parts. Sports help in streamlining and organizing movement of body parts, and this has significant physical. Let me go a little bit in history. When the disabled sports started, it was just to help the paralyzed war veterans from World War I and II, where they would get some rehabilitation from it. And so it becomes a sport. And a lot of Jamaicans were the first to go there. One like Octavius Morgan. I was in a crib that time. And they used to compete there for many years, and that sport became international sport for the disabled now. And then the Paralympics then was Olympics for the disabled. So there's a transition from way back when until now. Right. And I am proud to be a part of that. The psychological benefits, success at any time helps persons' concept of self-worth. Social benefits, teamwork help with improving. The economic side, it is evident that the economic benefit to be derived from sport is skewed towards the able-bodied. This needs to be negotiated. Where you find that these able-bodied sportsmen are getting some real benefits in terms of money. This is not so with the disabled person. But now I think there might be some improvement in the long run, because the now Chief Mr. Samuda is doing all he can to ensure that benefits are filtered down to the disabled sports. So I hope that in the long run, other disabled persons will benefit from what I never had.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't that very interesting? At the point when he's enjoying himself and having a real good laugh, the whistle caught him. But the good thing, but you know, one thing we have to deal with before we even move on from here, Jefferson, and that is, we had a little mishap and we just want to apologize to you, sir. We should have had everything in place so that we didn't have that little bundling. So I wasn't looking. I don't know why I left my glasses today. But apologies are directed at you at this time, sir, and take it in good spirit. You finished on a very high note. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after hearing about all the holy for gold and silver medals, I never win a gold medal yet. But after hearing all of that, we now come to the point where when you have gold medals and silver medals all over you, then you got to sing. You have to see the musician. So at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the radio voice, the man who can sing and write and produce and do all of that kind of thing, I ask you to put your hands together as we hand the microphone to Mr. Sidney Sock, musician.
Yes, I'll give him my microphone.
Ah, you'll give him it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, so I'm going to hold this. All right, good afternoon, everybody. I have 16 pages in front of me. I'm going to yeah, right. I'm going to forego some because I have some music to play as well. And alright. Wow, this mic going to be on side down. Better not hold it. Right, so I'm holding the microphone now, everybody. Alright, so I'm Sidney Thorpe and I was born in a sign where you have a whole heap of famous people. I was born in the, under the sign of Aquarius, and you have people like Bob Marley and Derek Harris, Tony Ruggs and James Ingram and Neil Diamond, and all them kind of people, right? Loads of people. Dennis Brown, well, Pam Hall, don't start, okay? Don't start. I came from musical parents. My father was self-taught on guitar and piano, and my mother used to sing. And music was never short in my house, on the hills where I came from. In fact, whenever music was there, the hills came alive with the sound of it, you know what I mean? So that was how I started until I went to school. And then when I went to school, I met Miss James. And Miss Sheila James was the person that discovered that I had perfect pitch. She discovered that in a singing class one day. And of course, I didn't know what that meant, but anyway. Before all of that, I should tell you, I always knew what I wanted to be. And one day in class, I was probably an infant at the time, I think, when some visitors came around and they asked us what we wanted to be, and everybody wanted to be lawyers, doctors, and Indian chiefs, and got resounding applause, yeah, you know, big time. And they came around to me and I said, I want to be a musician. I was awarded with silence. Which means, of course, that in those days, music was not a big thing in certain ways. Because most people didn't look at music as a vocation or a profession or anything like that, because musicians just play and ask for money and all of that stuff. Well, of course, you know, so we changed that, because it's a profession. If you're a busking musician, then that's your profession. If you're a musician on the bandstand, if you're a musical teacher, whatever it is, that's your profession, you work with that. Okay, so I started doing piano when I was 8 years old. And my first piece of music was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I don't know if that was a precursor to what I am now.
A big star.
But whatever it was, it came out quite nicely because I'm doing what I dreamt of doing, which is play music in a pop band, do music for commercials, and all that for radio and TV. Okay, my first professional, well, no, commercial recording was when I was in school in 1974. I think we have a little clip from the technician who can play number 2 in the folder. Remember my time going fast. a group called the Merry Mice. Song called You Are Mine. 1974, and the lead singer is Calvin McFarlane. Alright, so that was it, right? Yeah, we have to do it like that because time is so very short. And then, of course, while I was doing the school thing, we don't reach the Fab 5 party. That's another story. The Fab 5 part will come. But when I was doing all of that in school, I was fooling around with radio as well. I used to produce radio stuff, record people, gather sound effects. And one of the most significant things I did when I was in school was when I made 5 15-minute episodes of the history of our school, blind school of course, in popular parlance. It was called the 50 Years of Challenge, which was very significant at that time. Anyway, I was supposed to go away and study. That didn't happen because Fab 5 gave me a job.
Yeah.
During that Fab 5 job situation, well, it started from a visit to Cuba for Carifesta, and then Fab 5 gave me a holiday job and then a permanent job because I wasn't going to Canada again. And during that time, I've recorded all kinds of things with all kinds of people. And I've been doing all kinds of technical stuff too because I consider myself one of the technological people. And I learned a lot of keyboards. Perhaps the most significant was the Yamaha DX7, which was a groundbreaking keyboard when it came out, a game-changing keyboard for those of us who know what it is.
Yeah.
And Fab 5 was one of the first people in Jamaica to own one. And I became a consultant of sorts because everybody used to check me to either build program for them or teach them how to do it, that sort of thing. So I became a programmer as well as a whatever it was, keyboard player, synthesizer player. And I should tell you about one of the things that made me more of a singer these days than I would have been was when Stevie Wonder came to Jamaica and came to our school, and I had the privilege of performing with him. And he told me, yeah, Sidney, you can sing. Shake my hand. That was nice. Yeah. I mean, you know, I can't say I haven't washed my hands until this day because but that was one of the game-changing things. And also, the fact that I was able to fulfill another dream. I was doing commercials and stuff. I don't know if I have time for that. Oh, before anything else though, while I was doing radio, I was doing a program for JBC, for the Jamaica Society for the Blind, called Awareness. And I used to interview a whole heap of people. And among the people that I interviewed was Floyd Morris, who came to Kingston to be rehabilitated at the time. And after many years, after being rehabilitated, learning Braille, going to everywhere, after many years of hard work, he's now Senator Dr. Floyd Morris. So that's wow. And I have the honor and privilege of deputizing for him on a Monday afternoon when he can't make it to do Seeing from a Different Perspective, for which I did the music. I don't know if the technician can find that. Can I find that technician?
Number 4?
Number 2. Number 3.
3.
I did the music for that. Let's see if we can find that. And let's have a little talking part coming up.
If a blind man tells you that you're beautiful, believe him.
So that's the radio part
too. If a blind man tells you that Jamaica is wonderful, believe him because he's seeing from a different perspective. He might lack sight, but certainly not vision.
So that was another thing that happened. Wow. 2 minutes more? When you rush through these things, you know, I tell you, it's a terrible thing. And among the many people that I recorded, with Fab Five, with Grace Thrillers, with Sandra Brooks, I did all of these records from those days, and Leroy Smith and those people. And loads of others, I can't remember all of them names, even Skeeter Davis, who everybody loves so much.
Yeah.
And stuff. I did my own CD. That's one of the successes. And we have a little montage, we can only probably play about a minute after it. So let's see if the musician, the technician can find at number 4. Number 4. That's the sound of the Blue Mountain stream that I composed after climbing the Blue Mountain peak. That was 1975. Some people have not yet been up there, but make it the truth, man. Make it true. It has been a wonderful experience being a professional musician. I must say, that's a 2-minute thing? Okay, well, next year will be my 40th year as a professional musician.
Ladies and gentlemen, wow. But we're ending on some really cool notes. Music and 40 years. You know, as he said, that's what I find so very interesting. I remember I worked at the Salvation Army School for many years, for a few years. And Sidney was a grade 10 or 11 student at the time. And he said, 40 years as a musician. Wow. But they say, if music could be the food of life, we gotta play on. And so when I look at my sheet here, I see where, ladies and gentlemen, we have another musician on the show. And this time, named from the disciple who gave much trouble, Mr. Peter Clark. Put your hands together as we get ready for Peter.
Yes. Okay, check. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Come on, good afternoon, everybody. Okay, I'm here this afternoon to motivate you. Because, I mean, we are learning from each other. Is that true? Yes. I started out at the Salvation Army School for the Blind. And we, for some reason, I loved music. Yes, Mr. Courtney Cook, we used to make a lot of nice. And there are times when we get disciplined for too much nice. But that was musical nice. That's the only show music at school. Yes. Because even when them close, even when the authorities close the piano room, Mr. Cook, we find me inside here because we have a DJ and sing. But then I have to give thanks to Unique Vision. Yeah, there was a time when they used to have fear at school. So back in the days, Unique Vision used to perform for us, and we had a thing called the DJ competition. So you know that cake there between me, Courtney Cook, and Isabel Grove. Well, everybody had their fair share because everybody had their fair share of winning. So we know what it is like to come on stage. But then the thing within me grew larger because the sound of a piano keeps bugging me. And I always wonder, what them do to make that nice sound? So I became the best friend of Miss Sheila James. So, because we used to have some nice singing class. Some of which I used to joke out though, because sometimes you say some things and instead of me take them serious, I laugh. But I can't say to anybody, at school, don't run any joke in any subject areas or class, because the subject you joke out or the class you joke out might just be a career. True. Yeah. And Miss James taught me how to play piano, the basic rules to piano. Then came Mr. Light, our principal. I reasoned with him because for some reason I was one of the strongest boy at school. So when the break van
came in, they used to call me and we had to load up the stuff to store. So be yourself. So for whatever reason, I asked him if I could go down by Fam 5 because that's where your unique vision situated. Because I needed some more experience. Thanks to Frankie Campbell and Sydney and Henry Robinson and the guys, they never turned their back on me. Wow. So when rehearsal happened, me in the thing, man, if you stand up and listen. So that was a great experience for me. Then Henry Robinson took me on and he gave me more piano lessons. Anyhow, cut long story short, after that I leave school at age 18 and I had to start a career because a baby was in place. So I had to kickstart a career from something. I wasn't a guy with that subject, but I remember the piano. And I remember how to DJ. But eventually, the church community learned of me. And I started out in the church. Then, for some reason, the parlor now get a hook and realize that playing music at 9 night was the thing. So they heard about me and they employed me. But then I had a challenge because the people who had sight says, no, I'm not work with him because him can't see, so where am I going to play? So, but 2 people believed in me for whatever reason. And there I got another chance again. And no. My phones keep busy. Because tell you what, I'm now the proud owner of Supreme, a musical band. Wow. So, let me say, I am a businessman from music. As I stand here talking to you, I want to sleep because for the whole weekend, it's just music. No sleep. But, as I say, it is not an easy road. And I implore you folks, whatever you do for a living, my disabled community, excuse me for saying that, but you understand what I'm saying. Whatever you do for a living, that is your business. That is your bread basket. Come on, people. You see, at my house, that is where my office is. Yes, my cell phone is my business phone. And when that phone rings, my hand can scratch me. Come on, because you know what my phone ringing tells me? Money, 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 money. Yeah. So I mean, let me stress now, I am not a rich guy. But I am independent. Because no, 5. Don't trouble with it. He says 5 and somebody's cutting you down to 2. But for some reason, I am independent. Come on. I am not rich. But you know what happened? I also have the opportunity to employ sighted folks. So, the sighted community are the people who have 20/20 vision, who used to look down on me. I am now their boss. So, I mean, instead of saying Peter, they are now saying Mr. Clark. So, I mean, I am proud of myself. When somebody asks me, when I'm on the street and somebody asks me, when I'm on the street and somebody asks me, do you, what happened to your eye? Are you blind? I proudly say to them, I'm not blind, but I have a sight problem. I'm short-sighted. And when they say to me, how you manage? I say, I'm a proud owner of Supreme Music Company. Okay. And I mean, let me tell you, there are places I feel I could hide. Yeah, because me a girls, you know. So, let me walk when I say this. I can't go back home because I'm a proud married man. So, there are instances where I feel that I'm at a place where I can't hide. So I was down there in St. Elizabeth, down by a little place called Parity on the beach side. So I said, okay, I'm out of Caribbean and I'm out of Kingston, so we must get hide down here. But here comes a beautiful young lady walk up with a great hug and say, Peter, what you doing down here? I said, music bring me down here, what you doing down here? See, I have to be careful what I do, wherever I go, I have to just behave myself. Music is what I'm there to play, I have to just play music because I can't hide. So I'm just here to motivate you guys that whatever you do for a living, that is your job. Do it to the best of your ability. You cannot afford to rent an office, but your home should be your office. Your cell phone should be your business phone. So when you approach your cell phone with caution. Because a wrong approach, you lose a job. So when there are times when my wife would say to me, Peter, you have to be careful when you answer this phone because a lot of times the calls that come to you is private. Okay, that's 2 minutes? Okay? Sometimes the call that comes to me is private. Because, let me tell you, ladies call me. But I understand myself. And let me say to you, I would turn to her and I say, I'm not own nobody nothing. I'm a musician, so I can't just close my eye and answer my phone. It's because I must music you are calling about. And so say so dumb. So I approach my phone with caution, a beautiful hello, and a beautiful good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. And the money talk begin. So, let me say, I am not a rich person. And if help comes my way, I'll be grateful for it because there's always room for improvement. But I am here to motivate you and to say to you that whatever you do for a living, let it be your job. And approach it with caution. These are my few words. Nice being with you. Thank you.
All the people who for hand glass scratch them say aye. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after, I thought knife was good, but I didn't know that the panelists in this group could have outdo knife from the start. The team knife, not true? Yeah, man, the team knife. So right now, we're trying to bring in the only person who would probably want to ask for an offering. And at this time, on the topic of money, ladies and gentlemen, we want to present to you at this particular point in time, the Reverend Arthur Anthony Taylor, teacher and musician. Put your hands together for Anthony. We're going to need the mic stand for Reverend Taylor. So could we just get some help to get the mic stand across to Anthony, please? And while we're getting that ready, just to say that he was one of the very troublesome students when I worked at Salvation Army. Yep. To God be the glory, great things he has done.
Yeah. Boy, I wonder why I was setting up some begging. But anyhow, we'll take the blame. It's always good to get money. And the kingdom needs it. But I want to open with a quote from the famous Marcus Garvey. He said, God and nature first make us who we are. And then we, out of our own creative genius, make ourselves become who we are later on in life. That's right. And I think it's a quote that we must always have. Yeah. Yeah? Alright, I want to share with you, just to let you know, my life has gone through several transitions. I can't go without talking about the very early years of our formal education at the School for the Blind, where we have received enough training to prepare us for the world of adulthood, Braille and typing, and also in the era of pedagogy, voice, wind, string, percussion form of instrument. So kudos to Miss Sheila James. We can't go without honoring her memory. All these have prepared me for the work world. But leaving school, it was difficult to pick up anything. So therefore I pretty much went on the street with Paul over there. Started out with another form of art, which was craft. I think eventually I was able to get some money to go to a beach whenever I want to go to the girl or to a show. I was able to earn some money from that nevertheless. It couldn't really take care of my life fully, but was able to keep me going and keep my life with some amount of interest. Later on I became a part of the National Culture Group for the Blind, which also gave me the opportunity to learn some amount of thing of choreography and voice training, exposure to different places where we perform as part of the JCB program. But my professional experience started out like Peter, where I was introduced to the Univision band also, State Records, and I hope to fully be a part of that group. So I got some amount of training there and practice, being out on the stage, and kind of become a little bit anxious, not getting the full place that I was hoping to be awarded. And then I moved out to form other group with Horace Taylor. You remember that, Sydney? Yeah. It was called Taylor Made. Yeah. Horace Taylor myself, a splash band, forming good relationship with others. Then after that, a group of us came together and formed the Optic Revolution Band, blind persons. And the Optic Revolution Band spanned for about 10 or 12 years together. That's where we played for a number of the Tasty Talent Show for over 10 years. For the JCDC competition, the pop and variety shows, we did a number that we had to learn those songs on the spot. Tony Lane was kind of challenging. So we had to learn those songs on the spot and then execute it in the evening. So it was very good for us. We also did numerous recording with King Tubby's recording studio, where we have seen the likes of Anthony Red Rose, you know, Tempo, my Lord, my God, you know, Tempo. With the guys there, along with Tinga Strode and Ninja Man. Those cover tunes were coming out at the time because our production, they were singing on with General Tibet and a number of others. Well, unfortunately, Tubby died, and then things kind of blew up for us. I also work along with the Glorious Opportunity. I think the valued part of my music career at time is to work with Boris Gardner, a very disciplined man, but a man who empowers you. So I had the opportunity not just to accompany him to be playing the bass along with him, because Boris Gardner is a very good bass player and sing very well, but also to open those dance shows for him. And numerous balls and New Year's Eve balls have been there jumping up and down the stage with Boris. So it's a wonderful experience that I have had. And also got the opportunity to have accompanied Larry Graham, 1 in a million. I think that was a great achievement for us. Later on, when things start to go a certain way, I decided to go into the classroom to use my skill as a teacher. I taught at Calabar High School, Half Tree Primary, the early childhood kindergarten, Smurf, also at Landman's Prep where I remain, and a number of others. While doing all that, I've engaged my children. That 6-year-olds had to compete against 9, 11, especially go to JCDC Festival. They have to compete against 11 and under, 9 and under. But being proficient at the skill, they were able to win the trophies, and I think was so grateful for us. And going to a number of those workshops at JCDC, one of my greatest achievements is I've made my voice heard. I kick up rumpus and pull other teachers along with me and say that we need to ensure that there be a specific category for 6 years old and under in the competition. And as a result, we end up having right across the board where we have a category for 6 years old and under, so they can perform against each other. I think that was tremendously part of my own doing. My students have not only performed at JCDC Festival, but we've been to Carifesta 2000, where in St. Kitts, where I've taken one of the youngest about 8-year-olds who have represented Jamaica at Carifesta, nominated by the JCDC. We went to Orlando at Founders Day, where we performed with 8 other choirs across the United States in 2009. I was also instrumental in being a part of the planning and coordinating the folk school group for the Louise Bennett homecoming. I don't know if you remember that. When Louise Bennett came, I was the one who pulled all those songs together and had them coordinated. I did a number of workshops with the Ministry of Education, created songs with the Ministry of Education. And if you listen, I think, if you listen to Sun City, at 6 o'clock every morning, you'll hear, I bless my heart forever. It's my children, and number with other children. I'm the one who have trained them, and we produce that at CPTC. Of course, they have the video to it and everything. There's a number of things in the area of religion. I have been a life changer, game changer. I've been a part of the charismatic movement in the Roman Catholic Church, where a lot of the contemporary songs and local songs are included in a number of books because of my help, or great help, in planning conferences, yearly conferences, retreats, prayer meetings, being sprung up because of that, being a part of the New Life Prayer Charismatic Community and the NCCR, the National Catholic Charismatic Renewal Center in Jamaica. I've played as organist at a number of these churches, and I have conducted numerous weddings and funerals right across the Archdiocese, and I've done it on my own as a deacon. So I think that's a tremendous achievement for me. My success stories, some of the persons that I've touched, the lives that I've touched, Dervan Malcolm, a number of you would know him, talk show host, had him at Calabar, and in a number of workshops. Andrew Bradbach, the director of speech at JCDC. Craig Tapper, was the one who helped to pull them together when they formed that TOK. There is also Camila Isaacs, Shelley Foster, my very good friend Tony Bella Blair. I've had her from she was a very tiny tot, and continues. She still come back to me even during when she entered the Rising Star. So I've been guiding her in all of that process. I always say I'm the recipient of a number of awards from the Archdiocese of Kingston, the Archbishop Carter Award, and I've been awarded numerous awards from JCDC as leading teacher for a number of years. And the coveted Marcus Garvey trophy that many schools would have loved to have. We have been second runner-up to that under the direction of Landerman's Preparatory School. So there's a lot that we can do, and I always say, you must never give up in whatever areas that you have. Allow your skills to lead you, and of course, always remember the quote, God and nature first make us who we are, and then we, out of our own creative geniuses, make ourselves become who we are. And pretty much just try to put everything in a nutshell. It's hard to talk about me with a number of things that I've done so far and the different areas that I've gone into. But I try to put it in a nutshell so that you can begin to understand. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an afternoon. Talk about the politicians and the preachers. Let's talk about the most time, you know. But having listened here to my brother Arthur and talking about his Catholic faith, I couldn't help but just quietly say, as I'm Roman Catholic myself, in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. But I want to say to us, ladies and gentlemen, I sat here and listened to these presenters, and I had one of the greatest pleasure just trying to do a summary in my head before we get the question. And as I sat there, I thought of SEEPO. And from the benefits that I saw coming out, I saw numerous opportunities. Yeah, maybe you say we're around too late and it's coming from a politician. But the whole truth is, what has happened here is we see the social benefits and the travel and the interaction boiling down to even the whole business of becoming a big time gallus as a result of. So as a result of the sporting and the cultural dynamics of what we have discussed this evening. We clearly saw coming out of it the emotional, the joy and the passion that people have experienced doing their work. They all claim that they're not rich, but we see the economics. And we hear even one person say, money, money, money. And my handy glass scratch me. So we know that there is economic benefit. And then we see all the P coming out of it, the professional development. We watch the growth of each person up here this evening. And we watch how professionally they have grown and excelled and have become masters of their own craft. As a result of that, ladies and gentlemen, we see the benefits clear, clear, clear. It is telling us that if we put our hands and our hearts and our heads to what we want to do, we can manage it. And we don't have to depend on it. Yeah, we need support from other people. But if we put our own hands and heart to it, we are going to be able to make it. You have to believe it to achieve it. If you have doubt, shut up your mouth. You have to do without. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been told that we have gone way over our time, but you and I know so I keep my time, you know. It's just that people did eat out some of my time, not true? But although we're over time, any 1, 2 burning questions? Because we can't make people tea for time and then we now can't get to ask a little question. On the Facebook like on the full door. Any question? Say that again. We better. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the politics out of it. Thanks for that. Any other comments? Any questions?
What inspired you, Durban Malcolm, with his music?
Yeah, what inspired you, Durban Malcolm?
Well,
Arthur.
When I was at Calabar,
Alright, let's hear Arthur.
I started at Calabar when Durban was in the 10th grade. So therefore, there was an interchange between music and drama. So they would do half music, half drama for the year. And a number of there to assist the voicing, and though he wasn't a singer so much, but he was a very good imitator. So I was always there with him throughout the drama. And at the Edgerman School of the Performing Arts, we had a lot of summer school. So his parents used to send him out to the summer school. So we used to have productions that they had to sing and dance at the summer school. So he very talented. Very talented.
All right, thank you so much. I know you want to say some more, but I know that I have to keep it short. Any final question? Final question. All right, ladies and gentlemen, no final question. Let me just say to you all, you have been a wonderful audience. And to say to our presenters, we thought life was good, but we were better. We were able to hold the floor, and we enjoyed some wonderful presentations, learned some excellent stuff. Let's put our hands together for our presenters, ladies and gentlemen. And for being such a good audience, clap yourselves. Thank you very much. I think that's the last thing for the day. No? All right.
All right, so they are going to do the closing thing. You can stay here. They're just going to open back that section so that the closing thing for the day can be